In a quaint coffee shop nestled in the heart of the bustling city, two friends engaged in a spirited debate that danced between the realms of belief and skepticism. Majid, a devout believer, found himself locked in conversation with his close friend Nomi, an avowed atheist. Their banter, a blend of wit and philosophical inquiry, traversed the territories of faith and reason with every exchange. "I don't understand why you're so certain about God's non-existence," Majid remarked, his eyes probing the depths of Nomi's conviction. "Because there's no evidence for it. God is just a myth, like a unicorn," Nomi retorted, sipping his espresso with an air of certainty. Majid leaned forward, his curiosity piqued. "But how can you be sure unicorns are a myth? Can you define them?" Nomi furrowed his brow, considering the question carefully. "Well, they're imagined creatures like horses with a single horn on their forehead." Majid grinned triumphantly. "So you do believe in unicorns then, albeit as imaginary beings. But can you be certain of their appearance?" Nomi paused, caught off guard by Majid's line of inquiry. "I suppose not. I've just heard or read descriptions of them." "Ah, so you're essentially relying on someone else's imagination. Why not conjure up your own image of a unicorn?" Majid countered. "Because it's all just make-believe. Who cares?" Nomi shrugged, waving off the notion. "But you do care about things you believe in. Like electrons, right?" Majid pressed on. "Of course, because their existence has been scientifically proven," Nomi replied confidently. Majid leaned in closer, his eyes gleaming with intrigue. "But have you proven their existence yourself?" Nomi shook his head. "No. But scientists have, through experiments." "And you trust these scientists blindly?" Majid inquired. Nomi hesitated, grappling with the question. "I suppose I do. Science isn't a myth. It's based on evidence and experimentation." Majid nodded thoughtfully. "So, if scientists base their experiments on certain definitions, like for electrons, what about God? What would you look for in your scientific experiments to prove or disprove God's existence?" Nomi shifted uncomfortably in his seat. "I don't know. I'm not a scientist." "But you have faith in science and its methods. Why not extend the same approach to exploring the existence of God?" Majid suggested gently. Nomi sighed, running a hand through his hair. "Because God is just a myth. There's no evidence. But absence of evidence isn't evidence of absence," Majid countered. "If you were to seek evidence, what would you look for? How would you define God?" Nomi paused, his brow furrowing in frustration. "I can't define something I don't believe in." "Yet, isn't the first step in seeking something to define what you're seeking?" Majid pointed out. "Without a definition, how can you conduct meaningful experiments to prove or disprove its existence?" Nomi sat back, his mind swirling with Majid's words. I suppose you're right, but still, I don't see the point. Majid smiled gently, reaching across the table to clasp Nomi's hand. Perhaps the point isn't in proving or disproving, but in the journey of seeking understanding and truth. Their conversation continued, weaving through the complexities of belief and skepticism. Majid interjected, his tone gentle but probing. Are you even willing to define God? Nomi shifted uncomfortably in his seat, his eyes darting around the coffee shop. No, because I don't know how God looks like. Majid leaned back slightly, a puzzled expression crossing his face. I understand that you don't believe in God and that you're uncertain about how to define God. However, I'm curious why you're hesitant to define God when you're willing to define other imaginary beings like unicorns. Perhaps we could explore my understanding of God together. Maybe we can discuss how I define God. It seems like you accept the image of a unicorn as described by storytellers, just as you accept the scientific definition of an electron without first-hand experience. Yet you're unwilling to consider the definition of God provided be believers. Do you see a contradiction in this approach? Nomi sighed, running a hand through his hair. I don't believe because you haven't seen God either. You haven't proven his existence either. Majid's expression softened, his voice gentle. I have faith in God, similar to how you have faith in science and the stories about unicorns you've heard. While I personally have a definition of God and evidence for his existence that aligns with my beliefs, I see that you're determined to deny the existence of God, dismissing any definition or evidence presented to you. It's challenging to engage in meaningful discussion when you hold such a firm belief in the non-existence of God without providing evidence to support your stance. Additionally, it seems you haven't considered what type of evidence would be necessary to disprove God's existence. Their conversation deepened, exploring the nuances of belief, skepticism, and the nature of proof. Each point and counterpoint added layers to their debate, their minds open to the possibility of understanding and truth.